Hello, I'm Kyle, and you're listening to Subculture on CentralCoastRadio.com. And I'd just like to talk about another comedy show that I saw at this year's Melbourne International Comedy Festival. This one being Nikki Osborne in her show Too Far. Now, Nikki Osborne, she's a comedian who's never been one to pull her punches. She is in no way politically correct, and she's actually lost some TV gigs just because her humor is a little bit on that edgy side. And I don't know. I think these days I just appreciate it when a comedian isn't afraid to offend people. I don't know. I think a lot of comedians nowadays are they're a little bit too worried about where their career will go if they I don't know if they dare to challenge some boundaries. But yeah, Nikki, she's definitely not somebody that's afraid of offending anybody. And well, I mean, I first really got to see Nikki, as a lot of people did, on the Channel 9 late night call-in game show that she used to host called Quizmaster. This was back in 2006, and something that is undeniable is like on that show for hours and hours and hours every night. I don't know how many hours she would have racked up in the time that she was doing the show, but she would have to carry that show very often just by herself, just with her own improvisational skills and just able to ad lib and as a host taking calls just to keep people interested. And I don't know, there was something about her humor and quick wit and I don't know this down to earth attitude that really kept well, she kept me and a lot of other people interested, and she kind of sprungboard that notoriety that show gained her into TV work, and she worked as an actress for a little while different a few different movies and TV shows that she was in before trying her hand at stand up comedy. And yeah, she wrote her own stuff, and I don't know, she's kind of grown from strength to strength. That now she is, I don't know, she's kind of a regular fixture on different comedian panel shows, and I don't know, you see her. She currently hosts the Just for Laughs Uncut compilation compilation show of the Just for Laughs stand up routines. On Instagram, she has comedy skits, and they regularly hit hundreds of thousands of views. And I saw her at Beer Deluxe in Federation Square for one of the opening nights of her stand-up gig. And well, the moment that Nikki Osborne comes on stage, she kind of ushers the audience in as close as possible because she has a very intimate show. Like she really does. She invites the audience to share as much of the embarrassment as she's willing to share. Like there's a lot of audience participation in her show. Like she doesn't rely so much on her script or on. Uh, there are some set moments of the show, like such as her talking about her homeschooling her kids or her husband or I guess just the kind of the challenges that she faces being kind of a more mature woman in the stand up routine. Like and there's certain challenges that a woman it faces in her line of work that men don't really need to worry about. So she does make a lot of gags about that, but it really can't be stressed just how much of her act is improvised. And it's I don't know, there's something kind of charming about that. I think that while a lot of people might be too shy normally um, for that kind of audience participation, kind of for them to be made the center of attention, there's something just about Osborne's enthusiasm that's kind of contagious, and like very soon you'll just notice that the entire room is just kind of joining in and laughing along, and sometimes the biggest laughs actually come from something that somebody yells out in the audience itself, and Yeah, I mean, it's a very brave show. Like she even talks about some of the things that are a little bit more embarrassing. Again, like maybe her age, or rather the stuff that she has to put up with because of it. Also, like the highs and lows of her career. There's a pretty funny part in there about how she set up a gag OnlyFans page to promote their pilot for this TV show that she did that nobody really watched just because of the way that it was put on. And so now she has this OnlyFans page that's kind of, it doesn't have any context, and it's embarrassing. But hey, she raised so much money that went towards a koala rescue charity. Like, how can she complain? And that kind of like that honesty and being able to share that much of herself, that goes on to the audience as well and allows the audience to take part in that. So it's a really interesting show, and Nikki is just so lovable in the part. Like, even when a joke doesn't land or part of her act doesn't really go to plan, such as the noisy bar staff that were making quite a racket during a show. I really was getting irritated by that. But she just rolls with it, and I absolutely love that in a comedian, for them to just be able to go with the act and just go with the flow like that. So I'd highly recommend checking out pretty much any kind of show that Nikki Osborne does, because I think just by her style of comedy and how so much of it is improvisational, it doesn't really matter what show you go to see of hers. You're going to get a really great, a really great, interesting show where pretty much no two nights are going to be the same. So I highly recommend checking her out. And yeah, you're listening to Subculture on CentralCoastRadio.com, and we'll be back right after this.